ready.
I'll read your lips.
We're ready. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're here today. It's September the 14th. It's 1:02 p.m. and we're at the Performance Monitoring Audit Committee. Call this meeting to order. And I'm glad to see everyone here, and I thank everyone for the prayers. And I'm glad to be in your presence, even though we lost a lot of people. I'm happy to be here. We have committee presentations and updates. Hurricane plan and our progress reports.
Yes, sir. Mr. Hall will be making those presentations.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and jump in. I'll start out with the hurricane plan to provide updates. As indicated, this is an organic document, so it's ever evolving. I'll just provide an update to the board members as to where we are. Since we last spoke about it, we've gotten the MOA revised. It now has Valerie's name as the interim CEO on it. We've also revisited the location as to where the buses will muster in Statesboro. I've gotten the MOU updated with the church member as well. I've also identified a staging area for the buses, so when we get there, we'll be able to manage the situation with the buses and our personnel. I've also identified the SEMA representatives as to who will go to the command post in the event there is a full mobilization. We also had a meeting about identifying alternative contingency payment process. Before, employees used to be given cash. Now we're looking at securing a credit card or a COM data card. I also met with operations leadership. We've also, and through that meeting, we were able to identify operators who will actually be shuttling buses from Savannah to Statesboro to our alternative site. We have 21 members signed up, and there is a set of the directions posted next to the sign-up sheet, so they're aware of their expectations. In addition to the sign-up sheet and the expectations, I've also covered in our newsletter what the expectations would be in the event there is a mobilization. They will be called upon to move buses from Savannah to Atlanta. I know previously there were always issues with the operators and the family members. We've made arrangements for up to 80 people to shelter at the church. They'll be providing at least 2 meals per day for up to 2 weeks. While they're the only deficiency at the actual site would be showers. They do have adequate restroom facilities, but that's the only thing that we found wrong. And they will be welcoming up to 80 people. The good part about it is there are restaurants in the area to supplement whatever the church does provide. We're well on the way to shoring up our plans for that mobilization in the event it does occur. I've also met with the union to make sure we're all on the same sheet of music with those expectations. There are a couple other things we're in the process of showing up, and as we continue to meet moving forward, I will provide additional updates with the actual hurricane plan. Incidentally, there are a couple out there now, none really close to hitting us, but I am keeping my eye on them to make sure that we are aware of any imminent threats of a hurricane that may impact us. Are there any questions about the updates to the hurricane plan?
Yes, sir, Mr. Hall. How many days out are we looking to start moving the buses and staff?
We are constantly discussing that right now. It's not necessarily days, it's a matter of hours, because these are some of the same operators that will be moving citizens from their locations to the Civic Center. So a lot of them won't be able to move the buses until after they get finished those routes. The ones who are off during those periods of time, they may be on the days off, they'll go ahead and get ahead of that proverbial curve. And sometimes, hopefully we can know up to 48 hours, but that cone of certainty shifts frequently. So we're waiting on SEMA to give us the declaration so that we can get reimbursed on any expenses that we incur after that point. So it's just a matter of whenever they make that declaration. We'll try to get a little bit ahead of that. We have to be careful about that too because of the funding that's attached to the declaration. Well, right now it's between 48 and 72 hours.
Okay, with previous experience, does the logistics come in with creating a route either back roads or 21, or possibly being stranded on 16 with our drivers being caught in all that traffic of a tandem turnaround.
Yes, we actually took a bus up to Statesboro, so we've actually traversed both routes, 16 and 80, the back routes coming back. So they'll be instructed as to which route. Right now, if they're in that 72-hour window, they will be able to take 16 ahead of the contraflow. So in the event that the contraflow happens, once they get there, they'll know to take the back roads back. And there shouldn't be as much traffic coming back into the city as they are. Hopefully, most of them go up there. We're hoping that they can make 2 trips, and then they shelter in place once they get to Statesboro. That is our hope. And there is infrastructure for them to be able to shelter in place in Statesboro for up to 14 days. And on the way back, hopefully they'll be able to come down 16 o'clock. They'll take the back roads coming in once the all clear is given.
Okay, thank you, sir.
My question is, if not Statesboro, then where?
There is another place in Vidalia, but it is a state-run location. That means that it's open to all state entities, and we don't have the exclusivity that we would have in Statesboro. That place has already been identified. We've not gone to visit that location yet because it is a state-sponsored facility, and we won't have as much access. They won't, for example, be able to guarantee that we have adequate space to park all of our vehicles because it's open to the state. So if we go there, maybe we could only take about 5, or it could be 25 buses, but we don't know because they won't know the numbers until people start populating the actual site.
I guess my reason for asking. I'm sorry, Ms. Ragland, were you going to say something?
I was just going to say, Dr. Robertson, that was the reason why we want to enter into this MOU with the church, because as Mr. Hall has already said, they've gone up there, they've met with the pastor and some of the membership, and they've assessed the land value where we have enough space to park all of our vehicles, plus provide for up to 80 people to shelter in place.
I guess what my concern is that if Statesboro is not far enough for us to go,
yes,
what is our alternate plan? That's really what I'm asking. But sometimes, we can say Statesboro, but what if that's not the most convenient, or maybe Statesboro is under a watch as well. So if not, that's why I said if not Statesboro, then where?
Yes.
Yeah, the other the alternative location, Statesboro, has been identified as the junior college up in Vidalia.
Okay. With the same type of accommodations available, or something pretty close?
Similar, and again, because they are open to the entire state, it's hit and miss. Right now, we're the only ones that would be at the Statesboro location, just CAT employees only, CAT equipment.
Yeah, I guess I'm just a little bit concerned,
Yes.
that we don't have a solid plan B. Statesboro sounds wonderful, it's great, but I just think we got to have some type of backup plan that would give us the same type of deal that we got in Statesboro.
Okay, we work on that.
Yeah. Beyond Statesboro, and I guess the further north or west we go, then we have to realize that we have to share with other entities. It won't be exclusively Chatham Area Transit.
Ms. Ragland, do we have to have some specialized insurance, being that we're in different people's municipalities, or if we have in some of our equipment and employees in other people's backyard, do we have to have special insurances?
No, sir. And the equipment once the equipment is moved, it'll be parked. We won't be using the equipment, so it won't be moving. But no, sir, we won't. But we have insurance to cover the equipment in case of disaster.
I just wanted to make sure that we had some insurance just in case we was on somebody else's property, or somebody said that we damaged anything, that we need some special insurance.
Yes, I believe the insurance that we do have will cover that, but I'll make sure about that and let you know. Report back.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Okay, anything else, Mr. Hall?
No, I'll go ahead and provide you with the updates on the safety plan.
Yes, sir.
That's come before the board before, but we had an opportunity to make some additional revisions.
I have one other question about the hurricane,
Okay,
if you don't mind, Chairman Leggett.
Yes, ma'am.
I guess my question is, what if this happens with COVID and we're already experiencing shortage of employees? What's our plan? Because we talk about hurricane on top of COVID.
Yes, sir. Do we know how many people and how many?
Mr. Adams, you kind of breaking up. I think we lost him. He froze.
Yeah,
So okay, we can come back to him if we need to. I think Mr. Hall froze, so we can move forward to the proposed agenda items for September 28th.
He's not froze. It's Mr. Adams that's froze. Mr. Adams froze.
Yeah.
Oh, is he frozen?
Mr. Adams is, yes.
Oh, okay. Again, well, we can go back with Mr. Hall and finish our public transportation agency safety plan and report.
Did I get an answer to my question?
Oh yeah. Well, one of the things that we could possibly do is start the mobilization a little early, like moving some of the vehicles that will not be used. Like, for example, the generator for the electric buses. We could probably move those ahead of time because we will have less people. And I keep an eye on the number of people who are signed up. And right now we have 21 people who are volunteer operators to take the buses. After we exhaust that list, we use, I guess, what they call inverted seniority. And the ones at the bottom of the list will then be voluntold to help move the buses. And through both lists, we should have enough people that will be able to move them, especially if we can start a little bit ahead of that declaration.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
I'm good.
All right, great. Now on to the safety plan. I know we've talked about some of the revisions in the past. I'll just touch on the clarifications that we've gotten since our last discussion. We did hear back from the attorneys. They did make some additional edits to the plan. In addition to that, they did seem to move towards the idea or the notion of having the 5-year window between the convictions and the DUIs that we talked about. I know one was 3 years and one was 7. So I think the consensus was to consider 5 years. They did indicate that in their revisions that a 5-year window should offer some level of consistency. And I know, Dr. Robinson, you have some additional edits. So once we get all of the edits in, we'll reposition it before the board for the final review. Are there any additional questions?
And I want to say that most of my edits have to do with just finding grammatical errors or punctuation errors, and things like that, or
Right.
missing words and things like that. I just think that our document should be as grammatically perfect as possible. So even things like missing comma here or there can misconstrue what the intent of the language is. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. I don't mind doing that.
No worries. I appreciate that.
Okay.
All right. All right. Are there any additional questions? All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hall. Next, we go into our action items. That's the proposed agenda items for September 28th.
And Mr. Dumas is going to make the presentation for the extension of the COVID-19 emergency measures.
Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and other board members. This is your standard item for COVID-19 emergency measures that we present to the board every month. It has been some discussion. Well, CDC has extended that time frame until January 18, 2022. And so it's your standard item. However, from the earlier meeting today and other meetings, there's been some discussion about removing this on reporting it every month to perhaps every quarter or to the time that the extension is scheduled to expire. Right now it's January 18, 2022. So we want to get your take on whether or not you would want to see this continue each month or do it quarterly or just whenever there's a change from the CDC to extend or no longer mandate the COVID emergency measurement.
I can speak to that. I think my only concern, Ms. Cutter, would be if what we do have an impact on the budget. You know, if there's no financial impact on the budget and it's the same standard thing, I'm good. But you know, I think a monthly, it doesn't have to be extensive, but maybe as a staff, you might want to make us aware of some things. But my issue is as long as what you do does not have a financial impact and it's pretty much operational, you know, I'm okay with that.
If there's ever a financial impact on any of the action items, then I will state that in the comment field to alert the board so that they will have that information prior to taking action on it.
Yeah, that would be my only concern, because I know how tight we are, how, you know, you guys are doing a great job trying to manage the budget and things like that. So that would be my only concern.
Okay.
Are there any other questions or comments whether or not we would, decide to change this format from monthly to quarterly?
Well, I think, Ms. Ragg, you'd have to bring that to the board as a proposal, and then the vote would vote on it.
Well, initially, this is not the first time this has been brought before the board. I think initially there was, I think it was Dr. O'Halloran who had said that it wouldn't be necessary. And I believe, I think it was you, Dr. Robinson, that said that you appreciated the monthly reports.
Right, right, yeah. But my point is, and again, I'll say what I said earlier, if it's a standard report with no financial impact, I'm willing to, you know, but my question was, even to get this approved by everybody, does it have to come to the board from you as a recommendation?
I would probably bring it before the board for a consensus vote. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right, well, that's all I have. Thank you for your time and attention.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Ragland, are you going to address the vaccine incentive program?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As you know, I think it was initially the first email that I forwarded to the board was on August 23rd. I'm notifying them of my involvement with the collaborative initiative to incentivize employees of Chatham County, City of Savannah, CAT, and the Board of Education. So the collaboration has moved forward, as I notified the board that they were going to move forward. And I did request before the press release was released that they remove the monetary figures in that announcement, but they decided not to. So it was announced. And although the Chatham Area Transit Board has not officially approved this, we did allow you to know that it will be placed on the committee meetings agenda and also on the regular board meeting agenda. We are not planning to do anything at all to make any implementation plans until it has been approved by the board. I just want you all to know that. It is on the agenda, as I stated, for the regular board meeting in 2 weeks. And we'll follow that, whether the board approves or does not. Then we'll know what our marching orders are. But in the meantime, we are putting together internally guidelines for our employees to follow. We are following the direction of the collaboration and choosing a third party to verify the vaccinations as well. So we won't be involved with that. But nothing will be implemented until we receive approval from the board.
But Ms. Ragland, but I do think that you, in one of your emails to us, you did make us aware of the implications financially and that we should be able to do it and be reimbursed, right?
Yes, ma'am, I did. Right now, because this was not a budgeted item, it was not in our budget for 22. what we plan to do, if approved, is to remove the funds from our reserve and then have it reimbursed once we apply for the funds, because we do qualify for reimbursement of these funds.
Well, and I'd like to ask you, as a staff, are you guys comfortable with that? Because I do believe we need some type of incentive.
Ms. Ragland?
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Robinson, we're at a point wherein we can really employ several strategies to actually fund this. We're still early in the fiscal year. Hopefully there will be operating savings coupled with the opportunity for possible reimbursement from ARPA funds. However, we have no timeline as of yet as to when those funds will be available. The reserve account is the safety net. We won't withdraw any funds from the reserve account until it's absolutely necessary. And prior to doing so, that will be brought to the board for approval.
Let me make sure I'm clear. So
Okay.
if it comes to the board as an action, or if it stays on the agenda as an action item and it goes through, my question to the staff is, are we in a position to say, yes, we can do this and be okay financially?
Well, as I said, we have the reserve account there. However, I have to alert the board. You know, we don't know what this variant is going to do and the after effects of it, how it's going to impact us. We don't have a clear line for receipt of ARPA funds, but that reserve account is there. It can cover the $150,000. But as the CFO, I would like to see that as the last resort. Hopefully operating savings will be able to cover a huge portion of that. And we will have the ARPA funds in place in a timely manner wherein we can draw down and reimburse the general fund.
But if that does not happen, the operational savings.
Reserves.
Well, the operational savings would allow us not to have to go into the reserve.
Right. That's
Okay.
correct. That's
Okay.
correct.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
And Ms. Cutter, I just have to say, Dr. Robinson, she's been keeping a really good eye on those finances. And she has, when she notified me, we were very early in the fiscal year, but she can already see a cost savings over the last 2 months. And if we stay in the same trend, we will be able to, we'll be in really good shape. So are there any other questions?
Not from us.
Okay. So I'll go into the employee home purchase program. Anita Dixon Smith with the City of Savannah's Housing Services, she had approached me about a program that she has partnered with St. Joseph Candler and a couple of other agencies in providing down payment assistance to their employees who qualify under this program. And she thought it would be a good idea to present it to our board to consider for employees of Chatham Area Transit. So it'll be about a 5-minute presentation just to make you aware of the program and to see if we might be interested in participating. And that's all there is. Oh, I do need to let you know that we are fine tuning and working out some other agenda items that might be added to the governance agenda next week. We have not placed it on this agenda because we're still trying to, we're waiting on some specific details before we bring it to you. So they might be placed on the governance agenda for next week.
Sounds good. Is there anything to add to what Ms. Ragland said? If not, we can move into some old or new business. Do we have any old or new businesses we want to bring forth?
I'd like to find out where we are on the disposal of outdated vehicles and the nonprofit idea of putting it on, nonprofits can donate it or whatever.
Well, I would say that we have that one vehicle still available. Mr. Boatwright has been out of the office, and we would hate to move forward without him. But we can give you an update, Dr. Robertson. I'll send you an update via email.
Sounds good.
Okay. But we still have that vehicle, that one vehicle available. It's just that he was checking on some things. We didn't want to, as you say, it was a vehicle for disposal. We didn't want to put any money, real funds into it since we were giving it away. But Mr. Boatwright was wrapping that up, and unfortunately, he's not in the office right now. But we will get that information to you, hopefully by the end of this week.
That sounds good.
Thank you.
Sounds good. If there's nothing else, our next meeting will be September 21st, 2021. That's the governance meeting. And also September 24th, 2021 is our regular board meeting. Ms. Ragland, I'm not sure if you knew, but the neighbor across the street from your office, Mr. Sidney Johnson, he was one of the oldest members on that block. He was a part of the Waters Avenue Business Association. Mm-hmm. He passed away. And I also see that a neighbor down the street from our CAT station has moved away also, which is the funeral home. So I see there's still a lot of changes going on around the facility.
Oh, I didn't know. I did not know that. Thank you.
You said the funeral home is moving?
Yeah, the funeral home is actually closed. Williams & Williams Funeral Home is closed.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Has Mr. Johnson already been funeralized?
No, sir. They're still, I think they're going to cremate him, but the family has not finalized the funeral arrangement. Okay,
thank you.
And Chairman Leggett, I got one question for you. Is when the after the governor's meeting and the items that are not here on the agenda, will either you or Ms. Ragland, will we get them in advance to look over them?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to attend the governor's meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's it for me.
Chairman Leggett, do you have any information more than you shared so far with Williams & Williams Funeral Home? Having been there many years, have they gone out of business or just relocated?
I think they're going out of business. I can get some more information from their corporate, because as you know, the funeral home itself was a locally owned, but they was bought out by a company out of Chicago. So I can get some more information and give it to you, Mr. Dooms.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Ms. Cutter, can we purchase it and make it more parking lot?
Not right now, Dr. Robinson.
Just thought I'd ask.
Good question, though.
There's nothing else for
Director Leggett.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you please, if you receive any information about Mr. Johnson, would you please let me know?
Yes, ma'am, I will.
Thank you.
Yeah, me also, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, if there's nothing else for the greater good, I just want to let everybody know that I appreciate you all in your respective places, because without all of us working as a team, we can't get nothing done. So, no disrespect, but I pray for each and every one of you each day. And I look forward to seeing you in person one more time. So talk to y'all later.
Thank
and
you.
This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Everyone.
Bye now.